Was the urine test conducted at the Peninsula Health Center?
No, it was not.
Where was it conducted?
It was at Balco.
Okay. So you wrote in your affidavit, going back to, was this exhibit, what is the exhibit?
There's
5. You wrote, at Peninsula Health Services, Mr. Mosley's blood and urine samples were collected. Let me finish.
Okay.
Why did you stay under oath that Mr. Mosley's urine samples were collected at Peninsula Health Services when you are now saying that they were collected at Balco?
Well, these samples that were drawn, I guess would be a more appropriate way to put it, at Peninsula. Some of the tests were done by Peninsula, but Shane and Daryl and Jim actually brought some of the blood back to Balco, and we centrifuged it there and tested it there.
That's okay. That's the blood. We're talking about the urine.
Well,
Did they bring any cups of urine back with them from the hospital to the Balco?
I'm not certain.
I mean, did it occur to you that maybe you could just send them to the bathroom at Balco to give you a urine sample?
It's hard to, I'll try to describe the best I can, but with all these samples that we collected,
I just need the answer to that question.
the answer is that blood samples were separated and sent to different labs, and urine samples were separated and aliquots were pulled off and sent to separate labs.
And what? And what?
Little samples. You would get one parent, one master sample, then you would pull off what they call an aliquot.
I have to interrupt you. I'm not asking about blood. I'm asking about urine. I'm asking about what you testified to a minute or two ago was that the urine tests were done at Balco, but you stated under oath that they were done at Peninsula Health Services.
I think we're getting hung up on semantics. You're using the word the urine test.
Okay, urine samples.
Well, let's even be more specific. I think what you're, and I don't know, please forgive me.
Let me rephrase it. You wrote at Peninsula Health Services, Mr. Mosley's blood and urine samples were collected. Okay? I believe you testified just recently that the urine samples were collected at Balco, right? Yes or no?
If I did, I misspoke.
Okay, so what you meant to say they were collected at Peninsula.
Frankly, it is difficult here, this length of time, thinking back. Sometimes I think about the general protocols that we used, and when you're asking specifically about Shane, I'm doing my best to recall exactly and precisely, but in this case, regarding this urine sample, I don't recall.
Then why, sir, under oath, would you say that it was collected at Peninsula Health Services when you don't recall whether it was taken at Peninsula?
I simply made a mistake.
You made a mistake. Okay. You made a mistake when you said that urine samples were collected and that T3, T4, and TSH tests were done on the urine, correct?
I don't believe they were, and the reason I say that is because when I looked, I was unable to find these results. They may have been. This is a long time ago, and specifically going back and looking for the results, I don't have those results now.
Okay, let's go to paragraph 5. Following the sample collection, Mr. Mosley and Mr. Hudson, Mr. Valenti returned to my office at Balco. I explained the benefits of using 3 illegal performance-enhancing drugs, commonly referred to as EPO, the Clear, and the Cream. Now that's a statement you made under oath in May of 2008, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Didn't you testify earlier today that it was at the first meeting before the urine sample that you discussed the benefits of using these 3 substances, and then afterwards Mr. Mosley came back and told you he wanted to use them? Yes or no?
The answer is I probably told him both times.
Okay, but you didn't say so in your affidavit, correct? And this morning, when you testified, you didn't mention anything about discussing the benefits of the three EPO, the three substances. What you testified to, am I correct, that Mr. Mosley came in and said he wanted to use them after you had already explained the benefits?
You didn't ask me whether or not I told him about benefits either.
Okay, so I asked you if you could recall anything else that you said, and you said you couldn't.
And you're a slick lawyer.
Hey,
That's not appropriate, sir. Did I ask you? You told me that I had exhausted your recollection, right?
Okay.
Now, when you're faced with
At that moment.
Now that you're faced with an affidavit you signed, which says that you discussed it after, your recollection is now that you also discussed the benefits after Mr. Mosley returned, correct?
objection. I couldn't follow that. Could you do that again?
Earlier today, when I asked you, had you exhausted your recollection as to what happened at the second meeting, you said I had exhausted your recollection, correct?
At that moment.
Okay, and at that moment, which was perhaps an hour ago, you did not recall that you had again explained the benefits of EPO, the clear and the cream, to Mr. Mosley, right?
Well,
That's not true at all. I told him the benefits in the 8th and 9th and 10th and 12th round. He would have additional endurance. It would enhance oxygen. Those are all benefits.
Yes, but did you say that to him? Well, you know what? The record will speak for itself. Let's go to the next sentence. I explained the benefits of using 3 illegal performance-enhancing drugs commonly referred to as EPO, the clear, and the cream. Take a look through this document. Tell me if there's anything in this sworn statement that you wrote that refers to the fact that you also, as you claim now, recommended and provided Mr. Mosley with insulin.
I'm sorry, the question is what?
I'll rephrase it. Is there anything in this document, and take your time, read it, that mentions insulin?
Probably not. That was an oversight on my part.
So you just forgot about the insulin.
Yes, I'm human and I have made mistakes in my life.
Okay, but you remember that on exhibit, the calendar, which I guess is exhibit 4, that the I, you're sure, means insulin.
That notation was used on probably 25 athletes' calendars for a period of 4 years. Yes, that's what it means.
But you have a clear recollection that you discussed insulin.
When?
Sir, there would be no reason for it to be on the calendar.
You have a clear
Yes, I do.
recollection
Yes, I
that
do.
the July, let me finish, the July 26th meeting, you discussed insulin.
Yes.
And yet, when it came time to sign a declaration under oath, and you were specifically talking about the illegal performance drugs you were giving, you had discussed with Mr. Mosley, you just forgot to mention insulin.
That's correct.
All right. But you had used insulin, as you claimed, with many athletes.
And not all of them used it,
Okay, but many did.
but many did.
And you just forgot.
That's correct.
But you remember it now.
I asked that answer. Could we move forward?
Okay, all right. Now, how soon after the meeting on the 26th did you send your Federal Express package?
Can you build a foundation?
It could have been that same afternoon.